fly for the ROX Tigers? Do they want to get rid of things like the Corky for temp? Do they want to get rid of those big-ass tanks on the top side of the map, as Crazy was opting into that Cho'Gath often? But no, it's going to be the Elise away from Bless and a little bit away from Songwon as well, so it's a curious one.
I actually really rate Songwon's Elise. He played really well around IEM time in spring season and is just 2-0 on it in summer season. Not wanting to first pick Elise. Interested to see where their priorities are. If you remember, Atlas, ROX Tigers have been one of our noted as many tanks as possible teams with Maokai and Cho'Gath, so maybe a first pick Maokai, what the Tigers are looking to.
Possibly able to get there as well as
Kalista against Songyun is usually an auto ban.
Has to be banned. It's the Corky taken away from Temp, so they're getting rid of Comfort for the BBQ Olivers.
So Maokai, Orianna, and Kalista, given the teams involved, are going to be very high priority. See what BBQ wants to ban will be the Kalista. So now you get one of Maokai and Orianna, I would imagine, unless somehow Cho'Gath has really jumped up the priority.
But Orianna does make a lot of sense. We even saw in our last series, SKT banning that away from Pawn over and over again, but Lava has just been one of these more utility-based mid laners trying to do his support role in the mid lane at the same time, and that is going to be the first pick. Like you said, pretty obviously, as BBQ, they can go for the dynamic duo of Cho'Gath and Maokai if they want to. But Xayah also left up, and Ghost has been a huge fan of this pick.
Yeah, it's the highest priority AD carry up. In Korea, at least, we see Xayah over Tristana as a priority pick. And Tristana could definitely be taken into the Xayah, but the Tristana side of the coin has been more common. Ghost is most played this season, has been the Xayah. We don't talk about the win-loss, because to be fair, BBQ haven't done a lot of winning, but
yeah,
Ghost is a good Xayah player. And the Gragas priority, when you see Orianna drafted so high, one of the things you can do is just take the Gragas and be able to knock her out of her locus of control.
I also think that it's fantastic with a Xayah as well to complement that pick, who doesn't necessarily have the range, but if you get someone out of position, you can finish them off very, very quickly and keep them there. That Blade Caller.
I'd love to see Maokai Cho'Gath and go 4-7-14.
That would be some serious tank meta stuff going on there, Pop Smithy.
If you don't get the inspiration from Huni in game one, you'll just never play Cho'Gath.
Okay, so I'm considering the Cogmore. Well, if you don't have range as a Xayah, well, you certainly do as a Cogmore.
Might be Braum here as a support choice. Could also be the Tahm Kench, I guess. But yeah, you're going to start wanting to lock in tanks and peel for good old Cogmore.
Yeah, Thresh being considered here as well, as Key's going to take the Playmaker towards the bottom side. Don't mind that pickup, solidifying that bottom lane as well.
Now, BBQ have two different ways they can go. They know exactly what the Tigers comp will entail, even if they don't know the exact picks. So you can look for backline access, which Rakan would definitely synergize with. Got Gragas and Rakan to try to bounce the Cogmore, or even the Orianna, into the front line.
Yeah, just general disruption there as well, not to mention the Lovers bottom lane that we all know and love.
Something like Maokai as the top lane will make a lot of sense, but we talked about Maokai Cho'Gath priority, and to their credit, ROX Tigers have calmed down a little bit on that side so far.
Yeah, BBQ Olivers as well, who want to do a little bit like that. Jarvan going to be the first ban here by BBQ.
It's a bit of a strange one, given that I think that the ROX Tigers want to go the opposite direction, but having someone like the Jarvan as a ball delivery system can make some sense. To me, you'd want the Maokai more, because you can just kind of ult as a distraction while Cogmore gets to free auto people.
Yeah, Linderung has been a bit of a fan of it, and it's one of those sort of easy free, it's like part of the win-free comp, just to throw a Jarvan in with an Orianna. Talia going to be taken away from Temp though, so a lot of respect there, given to one of his best champions.
Not a lot of targeted CC in League of Legends anymore, so Maokai Twisted Advance's reliability makes it, when it is 8th versus 9th, just higher priority in my estimation, because why not go with the stuff that's reliable? Your macro, probably not reliable. Your in-game decision-making, not always reliable when you're on a team that hasn't been winning much. That's why we do see it banned away here. So having reliability somewhere is what I think teams at this level of play should crave.
Well, is it going to be the Cho'Gath ban here away from Crazy, or do the Tigers think that BBQ Olivers have a different pick in mind?
Crazy's played a lot of it. 3 games of Cho'Gath is the most anyone's played in the summer season, and Tigers seem to be happy enough to leave it up.
Okay, actually wanting to take away the Rumble.
Crazy's been one of our better non-notable Rumble players. Well, I mean, we got Marin and Smeb and Huni.
Yeah,
We've got really significant Rumble players, so we also have the ancillary Rumble players, like Crazy. The reason why you banned Rumble is that Rumble Equalizer actually forces Kog'Maw's positioning as if it's a CC, so he can't just free auto in the backline. It's one way to get backline access without being a Malphite or being super hard engaged, so don't mind it as a ban, given that Crazy's been good at it.
Crazy's actually going to forego the Cho'Gath, as it is going to be the pickup of the Syndra going over to Tempt.
Something that he's played quite a lot of, so...
Yeah, Sejuani actually going to be the lock-in, though, for Songwon. So wanting to have that big, beefy front line coming in for the ROX.
They found it somewhere, Atlas. They found a front line.
Front line discovered. We got there. Okay, and that is the Cho'Gath at least looked at by the ROX Tigers, and this is looking like super 7-14 right now.
Oh, I knew they would find the tank somewhere, and I guess they found the Cho'Gath at the last rotation on blue side. BBQ. The moment they settled on the Syndra, they had to kind of understand that getting to the Kog'Maw is probably now a fair impossibility unless Rakan is having a lovely time. Cannon support would not be. This would actually be a top lane Cannon choice. You gotta be careful. Gotta be careful with those hovers.
Yeah. Real careful. Crazy just gonna opt in for the split push, so Jack's gonna be picked up. Split pushing hasn't seen a whole lot of success even today in our prior matchup, but BBQ Olivers have a lot of damage, and they have strong laning matchups here. Can Bless get around and disrupt the ROX Tigers' super 7-14 composition?
I do appreciate, though, that BBQ, to their credit, noted that they wouldn't have backline access with where they were in the pick and ban and modified their strategy. Now it's more about the Jack split push, that, like you say, has been up and down in terms of effectiveness, but also maybe playing a kill lane around the Syndra. And hell, Syndra and Jax do have ranged gap close and CC between the two of them to function as a pick comp, even though we usually think of it just as the 4-1.
Yeah. And maybe they can utilize that in the mid game and then transition to a 4-1 in an effective manner, having that bridge available to them. Could be difficult, though, as the ROX Tigers have one of those compositions that if they're able to move forward, they can create these team fights that are almost impossible to win with these gigantic tanky bodies getting themselves in front of the Kog'Maw. It's not really a protect the Kog'Maw comp, it's a, well, you just can't get to the Kog'Maw.
If it's a get late game, get the Kog'Maw strong enough, and even if you get there, it's going to take so damn long, it's going to mow down your front line. So ROX Tigers happy to play an extended game with this pick comp BBQ. They want to turn it on early.
Yeah, there are certainly opportunities for them to do so as well. We'll see whether it is going to be a quick BBQ win or whether ROX Tigers have gone 7-14 and up. BBQ fans, there may not be a lot of them, but damn, they're loud. They are super passionate.
The other day, they were all in BBQ official garb. BBQ has been selling their merchandise recently. Guess we've got to get in there while the season's still going.
That is true. BBQ not necessarily a shoe-in.
BBQ fan from Thailand. Welcome to Seoul.
Yeah, welcome to Seoul.
It's pretty great here.
It is. I wonder whether they've got some radio so they can actually hear us. That would have been cool. We'll just never know.
It's true. We are in complete darkness. Just like we were in Champs League for a bit there, but we made it work.
We did. I was wondering whether we should talk about the fact that our monitors went black for a moment. Crazy actually waiting in the brush with his fishing rod skin there as well.
I did tell you that it can be higher skill cap to cast games like ROX Tigers BBQ. We may have to talk about what we think is happening, Atlas, given our monitor problems.
Do you think you'd be able to cast a game of League of Legends, Papa Smithy, knowing that it's going on, but you can't actually see?
Yes. I have supreme confidence in my abilities. Someone has to.
That is true. That is true. Just have to gauge the fan reaction.
I just love that I'm left with a live mic and not much oversight many times a week. Don't hear much from Riot Games. Don't hear much from OGN. We're just YOLOing over here, Atlas.
Just go. Left on our little commentary island.
One day, we'll say something just too nefarious and get caught. Though we've talked about some random stuff on this broadcast.
But it is not this day, Papa Smithy. Today, we commentate ROX Tigers BBQ.
Nowhere I'd rather be. Probably going to be very slow going, though, so we'll have to find things other than particularly the movements of the lanes, as an action may be at a premium Atlas.
Yeah, well, especially if you're a ROX Tigers fan, or if you're ROX Tigers themselves, they don't necessarily want the action to start off too quickly.
This is ROX's last game of the season, so maybe we can look back for a moment at what the season entailed. It's been one of change, right? I mean, the big story was that Mickey, the person who they played around in the spring season, our spring season runner-up MVP, left the roster. After they started on a bit of an uptick, they won their last match with Mickey, and then we found out the next day, as the first round robin ended, that he would not be joining the team for the season, and we later found out we'll be going over to Team Liquid. So now they've really had to make do with makeshift mid laners. At the end of the day, Lava is in no way a experienced mid laner. He was Taehoon, a substitute support player for SK Telecom T1, and only moved role during the course of 2017. So largely it's the supportive champions he's looked happiest on. The Orianna and Karma are probably the two that come to mind, and he'll develop as a player, and maybe they'll even look sideways at other players, given there'll be a long break for the ROX Tigers after this season, you'd have to imagine.
Yeah.
BBQ have to beat both ROX and SK Telecom to avoid the relegation tournament. And we've talked about what-ifs involving Jin Air that may or may not come true, so I guess we're not 100% sure, but likely going to be a long off-season.
Decent engage coming in here as the hook does land onto Ghost. Gets himself out of the way, but the Cogmore lane doing okay in trades early is good news here for ROX Tigers.
See how Crazy can do. We've seen Cho'Gath versus Jax once before, I believe.
Yeah.
There was a game where they had the choice between Gragas and Cho'Gath, and I was a bit perplexed that they went the Gragas route, given that Cho'Gath has a lot of outplay for Jax. You know, Jax usually can pop his ultimate and be okay when it comes to taking a bad trade, but Cho'Gath's Feast does give him some answering potential. Speaking of answering,
yeah, that's going to be the flash play coming in. Ghost immediately exhausted, has to heal and use the flash to get out. But it was all about, no, there's the battle dance, and Totoro gets himself out. The extended range in the Lovers duo combo helping him there. Okay, Linderung just farming things out. Thought there might be an extra gank up here towards the top side of the map, so we let that moment breathe for a second, but decides that he's not going to go in.
We're going to have to leave the early game breathing quite a bit. We saw the weather forecast. It's going to be very sunny, so we wore those extra white shirts to keep the sun off, keep it airy.
Yeah, I like it. It's time to pant. Now, maybe we don't have the ability to sweat here this game.
No panting, please, Atlas.
No panting?
No.
Oof.
We offer a lot of things on the OGN stream, but panting's not one of them.
Whoa, but you offer no panting? That doesn't sound good at all. I'll have you know that I am most certainly wearing pants, even if no one on the broadcast has actually. One of those common misconceptions that we don't wear pants.
See the trades here. The auto attack trades into the Grass of the Undying prop does mean there's some kill pressure when level 6 comes on, and Crazy won't just be able to push up in the face of Cho'Gath.
Yeah, it's certainly not happening now, as that wave has been well and truly shoved back in towards that Jax. And evened out the farm there as well. Linderung actually getting himself well and truly back in it to what was looking like it was going in Crazy's favor.
To be fair, Cho'Gath is super good at farming. Whatever the iteration, we're in the Emax territory now, but even when it was QW, ranged wave clear was something that Cho'Gath always provided. I was a big fan of the red side Cho'Gaths, where you just push up lane and steal away the enemy Gromp or Scuttle Crab.
Which is what Huni was able to do actually game 1 on a blue side Cho'Gath. Just eating Scuttle Crabs all the time, looking as large as the river as he walked back to lane. But only level 5 is Linderung so far. Bless is going to be spotted on that control ward, clears that one out. BBQ and the ROX Tigers actually going on a little bit of an adventure clearing vision and putting vision down. Testing the waters on both sides, but like you said earlier on, this game is moving quite slowly.
And ROX Tigers are happy for this to go 50 minutes. They've got the Cogmore comp, their teamfight reliability is there, and you know, as a counterpoint, certainly as a BBQ fan, you can say, well, in 40 minutes time, we're going to have Jax hitting even harder than he was onto the Cho'Gath on screen, but pulling off split push as a bottom 3-4 team has been almost impossible, we've been led to believe, by recent results. Ever8's game on the Camille against Shy on the ROX Tigers is maybe the one counterpoint to that. In general, a split pushing team has made some mistakes around vision or the ability to actually control Baron or deny Baron from the enemy team. Baron buff comes in and then the team fighting team just wins. So the reliability of ROX's comp calls into doubt what BBQ will be able to do in the late game.
And at the moment, this seems to be the slow and steady push forward. And yeah, I do understand what you're saying. Just feels like the more straightforward option seems to be better in these particular matchups.
It's always weird because I feel like the first time that we really talked about this, and it was talked about in the community quite a lot, was when Rise was meta. And this is many reworks ago, Rise, when he had targeted abilities.
You're talking about Moscow 5 Rise?
I mean, you could say Flame and Shy top lane, Rise. That was the same time.
Too.
We're talking about the time where he had no skill shots, and people said, well, if Rise is at a certain power level, why not Rise? Because you don't have to increase the variability of the skill shots, as Tempt's not going to deal with any smite steals on the blue.
Yep.
So
thankfully is Syndra.
The attraction is that if you can control one thing, which is having to hit a skill shot, and just remove that from the equation, the ease of the champion relative to power level means why not play Rise? Was the meta, and I think we're talking about basically 2013, early 2013 at that point. And I think that extends to a lot of the tank comps that are very straightforward to play. You don't necessarily have to always be on point with your side wave management. You turret dive like a beast because everyone's got a stone plate and a million HP. And Kog'Maw has such long range with Hurricane that you get access to the front line, take down the front line, and win the game. So while the skill shots argument isn't there, the ease of use argument is still there in my estimation.
Yeah, it's almost like if this composition is allowed to just walk at you, it doesn't matter whether there's a turret there or not. And as soon as that doesn't matter, they're just going to take your base, and there's nothing you can do about it once it gets to a certain point. The composition like this.
Best teams will be able to run split push. The best teams will be able to avoid that, and that's why we don't see 4 to 7 tanks in those matches. Usually it is lower on the tank front as the earlier power spikes and outplay potential is there, but especially when we are at this point, you can't be too surprised to see very tank lineups from the ROX Tigers.
Well, Lava's going to be at it. Take his blue buff, much as Tempt was able to. They were looking around that river for a potential cutoff of Songwon or Lava as they were off screen, but not going to be able to find any joy as Crazy finds some cheeky auto attacks onto Linderung. Counter-Strike doing some work here for the Jacks.
We're going to be denied So1's famous Trinity Force Cho'Gath from Solo Queue.
Damn it.
Trinity Force.
That's what I came here for.
Auto Trinity Force proc. The
into W. Yeah.
maxed E. And also the Grasp of the Iron Dying proc would be a lot of burst.
Plus fees. Plus Rupture Feral Scream. Do all of your buttons. Someone's going to take a lot of damage.
You're probably going to miss the Rupture, though. Let's be real.
Yeah. But at least they're going to be silenced, so you have an opportunity to land that.
True.
Yeah. There we go. Get a red buff. Then you can slow them, so the Rupture's even more capable of landing.
Cho'Gath was one of the first times that melee champions getting more slow out of the red buff became a thing. I know Hotshot GG always talked about prioritizing red buff over his AD carry. As I reach for my Season 2 metas.
What is this?
That's why they keep me around, because I may be old, but I remember stuff still.
When he was teaching us about top lane Nidalee.
Kicking brothers in the ass as well.
Oh my god, wow.
That's another reference.
Yeah, we are jumping so far back.
I mean, it is a Cho'Gath versus Jax top lane.
Yeah. We'll be talking about Big Fat LP's stream in a moment.
Did you know that Big Fat LP is like one of our OGN Legion? He's always in the stream.
Oh, hell yeah.
Sometimes he talks, some people don't recognize him, and I feel sad.
You shed a single tear?
I do. A large one.
Maybe more. As there's the flash body slam. Bless. Going to get the flash out of Songwon, but gets himself in safety, utilizing that ability. Good Rupture comes in as they trade CC on the top side. Grandmaster's Might going to be wandered away from casually by Linderung. He'll pick up this wave as it heads towards the turret. I think it's still too healthy to be dove by Crazy.
Sheen pickup will lead to that burst being a bit more severe, but Bramble, Vest and other items will then again negate it. So I imagine that's going to be the trading pattern we see. Basically ad infinitum in the top side.
Yep, more vision being put down here by BBQ's top laner Crazy. There was vision already available here by Linderung as he's eaten that Scuttle Crab like we had seen previously and like we spoke about earlier.
ROX Tigers getting that extended laning phase. And all BBQ can say as well, I'm happy that Jax has a CS lead.
Yep. That trading pattern, like you were talking about, happens exactly the same once again, but with one extra empowered auto attack, giving Crazy a little bit more of a lead this time.
They're both going through the motions.
Yeah.
It's a bit like a failed marriage. Everyone goes through the motions and they recall.
Or maybe just two that have got left into complacency, Papa Smithy, unfortunately.
That's true. It could be that.
Yeah. They just know. No, there's a routine there, and they're happy to go forward. I mean, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily failed. It just means that it might need some reinvigorating. So maybe Bless and Songwon can be the marriage counselors of the top lane.
Their friends have gone on teleports to other foreign lands, but they just stay in top lane. That's their home, you know? Why would you mix it up?
Yeah, but
it's safe.
Sometimes life needs a little bit more than just the top lane, Papa Smithy.
Someone tell Crazy and Linderon.
Guys, there's more to your relationship than this. It's not enough to just accept that you love each other.
We're going to get a postcard very soon about people visiting a dragon.
Yeah, see, and destroying it as well. Notes of their achievements on the other side. Oh! I was excited there for a moment, but Sungyu not going to be able to get the Living Artillery gang. The Living Artillery steal. Songwon here. Here we go. This is it. Crazy and Linderung actually hot and heavy up towards the top side, but Songwon turns up on Bristle, looking for the gank. There's the flash forward. He'll have the permafrost. He has the ultimate. There's the launch into the sky and the delicious nom coming out from Linderung.
The action finally happens in the top lane. First blood at 13 minutes. Not going to have enough turret damage. Take this one down. No sign of that sheen that I'm looking for from Linderung. Pushing the minion wave, though. Crazy won't be able to teleport for another 15 seconds. Death time is longer than expected for a first blood.
Yeah.
He's going to get the turret very low.
Yeah, and I think that marriage counseling advice was, oh, just get rid of him. And that most certainly did happen. That tower is going... I feel like Linderung's going to get the house out of this particular divorce.
Wait and see if there's a receipt for the side of Crazy, though. Usually it finds there has to be some equivalent trade.
Often these things work out pretty badly for both sides, you know. There's always fallout.
A very sobering cast.
I know. I feel like we've just gone way too far in. Or I've gone way too far in for this particular analogy.
Maybe if we keep committing, we'll get out the other side smiling somehow.
Well, I mean, here we go. Here's the lovers on the bottom side, and they're able just to take the house down together.
So love is pure!
Yeah!
Hey!
Stunning. This is what you've got to do, guys. You've got to break down houses as a couple. That way you don't need to take each other's. There's the hook, actually lands after the body slam. Yeah, no opportunity for Bless, but good cast gives Crazy an opportunity to make his way around. And the battle for the Rift Herald is on. Counter-Strike not going to land too much as Lava, really good timing on the cleanse, allows him to take that Dark Passage to safety, but loses them the Rift Herald. BBQ picked that one up.
Yeah, if ROX Tigers hadn't leashed that one or hadn't started it all up, maybe they could have continued to delay the game as Odoro goes for a zoning quickness.
That was enthusiastic.
And his flash up, so you could see he was feeling optimistic.
Zoning quickness. Is that like the zoning emo playing?
I had a lot of fun in Twitch chat for the Longzhu KT series.
Oh, yeah.
You remember, so I don't know if you were watching, but
I was.
There was a lot, it was Def playing Ashe, and he's had some zoning arrows recently.
So many zoning arrows, yeah.
And there was a time when he shot the arrow at the enemy mid laner and hit the Twitch in stealth, and I was like, oh no, he missed his zoning arrow.
Disaster.
Disaster. He had 1300 DPM, so he's doing other things well.
Just not hitting arrows. Notably, that doesn't do a lot of damage, Papa Smithy. So, I mean, if it's just the CC, who cares? As long as you're landing your auto attacks and your volley, that's where it all counts. ROX Tigers with a slight gold advantage. Crazy has not... Actually, no, it was Blessed that picked up the Rift Herald. I tell a lie, but he hasn't utilized it just yet.
I feel like ROX should have just warded around the Rift Herald rather than starting it. They want to delay the game. They want to extend the game. They weren't looking for fights. That's why the moment they saw BBQ, they all pieced out because at the end of the day, Kog'Maw's bot lane, piling on CS. They want the game to go as long as possible. It ended up being a free leash for BBQ. Whereas if they just didn't start it, it was much less likely the Rift Herald would have been claimed by BBQ.
Yeah, it's like get the vision down and you can actually just walk away from that situation, even if they get position.
Unfortunately, you get awkward spots where, oh, we have Secure, we have the Feast, we have the percentage HP damage from Sejuani. Why not take the Rift Herald? That's why you have to take a step back and remember, all right, we're trying to delay the game.
Yeah.
Sure, we can contest the Rift Herald very well, but we don't actually want to fight over it.
Everything was unnecessary there. Even the Dark Passage to get Songwon out of there. Not quite landing the skill shot CC with BBQ to lock down the Sejuani. Despite the largeness of Bristle in general.
Linderung little emaciated compared to our previous Cho'Gath.
I feel like there is still time, Papa Smithy. It's true. We are settling in for the long haul. He's got many a Baron and a Dragon to eat. Extend that size.
I think Huni hit 11 stacks by the end. He was at 10, definitely.
Yeah, he was pretty gigantic. He was bigger than a lane. But there's the flash quickness. He's going to lock down Lava. Unleashed Power comes in, but Lava does get himself out to relative safety. Ultimate flies forward from Songwan just for the disengage, and Lava survives.
Blast decided to throw a cast, but ended up being a party cast. Didn't do enough damage because he missed it. Now, at the same time, forcing Lava out of lane is still a win for the side of BBQ.
It was a zoning gank. There's the headbutt, but not going to do enough damage to take down the turret. Just does a huge chunk. Lava still walking back to lane. We'll actually walk towards the bottom side.
Getting greedy for farm. This may mean that mid lane turret will fall over time, but Minion Wave's not in a great spot in other lanes, means they won't just stay there.
All right, Rupture once again comes out. Slenderung pops that W and answers the trade relatively nicely. Crazy investing the ultimate into that one.
Slenderung smart to peel away. Didn't have any vision top side, but did the math.
He is a big target. That is going to be that top lane outer turret falling. Have to expect the rotation towards the mid lane to finish that one off. Should come in next, but Sangyun is at least getting some time there.
Good from BBQ to increase the pace of the game, but ROX also not rolling over. Lava had already admitted defeat when it came to keeping the mid lane turret up and already roamed bot lane, so no free advantages for the side of BBQ here as they want to keep the map as open as possible, to open up teleports, to put threat onto Kog'Maw, because short lanes where Kog'Maw and Orianna can farm do lead to the game going longer, the items being piled up, and the 6-item team fights that BBQ want nothing of.
Yeah, and in the end, that was actually BBQ forcing that top lane out of turret. They do get it. Linderon gets away without too much to speak of. Didn't have to use a flash or anything there, and they still answer with that bottom lane outer turret. So Lava putting his faith in his team that they were able to protect the mid lane means that they were able to get a turret for themselves.
Mountain Drake would be a nice bonus objective, going DPS down fast, but ROX Tigers are here for the contest. They don't seem serious though. You notice the pings are to go for mid lane turret as an answer.
Well, Songwan actually was considering trying to go for that, but no grand entrance to knock up the Sejuani. That is going to be the trade like you were talking about. Double teleports being invested in. He immedately bursted at the start of this fight, but Totoro very, very low. That's only one hit by the Shockwave. I feel like that could have done more from Lava. But Ghost has to use his flash to get himself out of the way. Featherstorm going to be utilized, but nothing gained. And that is just the one pickup for BBQ, but they get the Mountain Drake as well.
Yeah, Lava really needs to hold onto the Shockwave for a more true spot. Got a bit optimistic, and in the end, the AoE not enough to get anyone of note in the Shockwave. Crazy can just fall back to clearing minions in the bot side. The double control ward around the Drake still led to BBQ picking up that objective. Tigers getting immediate gold is what they want, and they do have a gold lead at 20 minutes, which bodes well as the items start to pile up for their carries.
Yeah, able to pick up that outer turret in the mid lane, giving him that global gold advantage. Very early QSS from Sangyun, respecting the stuns and CC coming out of the BBQ Olivers. Also wanted to have some magic resist up against Tempt on this Syndra. Unleash power onto a Kog'Maw does a bit of work if you don't have a lot of magic resist.
Tigers is finding creative ways to guide Sangyun to minion waves. His second item is always something to track. Feels like Sangyun's one of our biggest fans of the Rage Blade on the Kog'Maw. Last time Kog'Maw was in meta, you'll remember, was the on-hit Kog'Maw build that Sangyun was the first to play with the Wit's End and Ginsu's Rage Blade. So build has changed a bit since then, and we see players indecisive between the two options. 2-item power spike of the Rage Blade is great for a single target, but Hurricane and Infinity Edge is the 3-item power build.
Yeah, if you want sort of raw damage, that is certainly a way to do it, and offers some AoE as well in these team fights if you have clumped up members. But I like the idea of the Rage Blade here because it feels like pick a target, take them down, move on to the next one. And having a 2-item power spike against what BBQ wants to do makes a lot of sense as well, in my play-by-play brain. Anyway.
I absolutely agree. If Ghost was Kog'Maw, he'd look at super tanks and need the Infinity Edge. But given that Jax is probably not going to be grouped for most of these fights, the single target damage build of the Rage Blade and the earlier power spike will let them power through Bless or Totoro in the front line.
Yeah, and if they get that one pick-off with the Glacial Prison, or if a Rupture manages to clip someone, being able to go one after the other, Makes a lot of sense.
Troops are marching one by one.
Hurrah.
Hurrah.
I think that's an example of too much synergy.
Yeah, OGN Legion doesn't know about
The ants go marching?
about our commitment to making a spoken word album.
Oh, really? We haven't explained that one just yet?
We haven't yet.
Oh, no. It's where we get popular songs and we talk them at you.
I thought you said that's where we get popular, and I'm like, well, that's optimistic.
No, I don't think we'll get that. It might be the end of our careers, Papa Smithy, but we'll have to wait until they're guaranteed to end before we actually decide to release that album. It's like a farewell tour, John Farnham style. We'll just keep doing it over and over again. It's crazy. Actually looking to try and stop the rant. Stoneplate going to be popped by Linderung.
He was actually looking for the turnaround 1cc into Feast. But well disengaged from Crazy, flashed away.
Respected it a lot, actually. Gonna head back to that lane. Vampiric Scepter will help get his life total back up.
BBQ should have the tools to fight. That's why I'm surprised to see them disengage in. Bless decides to be a solo mission, but it's only on to the Song 1.
Yeah, there's the flash actually coming out of Linderung there as well. A little bit of a seesaw of a bottom lane for these top laners. Confusing sentence, but it does make sense. Crazy going to begin thwacking on this turret.
Are you I'm more of a thwomp, man, but thwack is there too.
No, he's thwacking because he's using a fishing rod.
Ah.
You can't thwomp with a fishing rod.
Are you a big fisherman? Do you fish a
No,
lot?
I think fishing is one of those things. I just don't understand it. I feel like I don't really like waiting in line for stuff. Like queuing is not necessarily something that I'm super into either. That's why I don't like fishing. But then people tell me about the meditative properties of fishing as well, and I sort of understand, but not really. I'm a little bit too impatient, Papa Smithy. I apologize.
A great example of that actually is, when you think about the, when they're not scrimming, when they're not playing, what pro players, what their hobbies are. Anime is obviously a big one. Playing other video games, certainly one as well. But the most interesting one I've heard is that I know that Peanut's main hobby is ice fishing, actually, in Korea. He likes to go for the meditative solo fishing expeditions. That's something he's been famous for. So, what do you expect? That really that goes against type, you would say, for a pro player?
Yeah, you also wouldn't expect that out of Peanut as well, a player that has a lot of, aggression when he plays the game, and then
you got to channel that somewhere.
Yeah, largely passive pastime. Yeah, I didn't mean to alienate fishermen.
They're an important demographic for the LCK1 stream.
The thing. I just feel like there's no point. I mean, why have enemies when you can have friends?
Exactly. We're all inclusive here.
Yeah.
On LCK1, if you're a fisherman or not, we accept.
Yeah. Tolerance is our main aim.
For fishermen.
Yeah, fisherman tolerance. So Crazy, you're welcome towards this inner turret. Oh wait, Linderung says absolutely not. Looking to try and protect this one, but a button is now on cooldown, so theoretically a win for BBQ. A button is on cooldown. It is!
He can't press 1 as well.
He can't!
Well, he can, it just won't do anything.
Oh, well, we actually don't know whether that's 1. That's just his most expensive item. Oh, face check! Not gonna happen. This was almost so exciting.
That was a lot of artificial excitement when there was a blasting plant.
Did you hear the crowd?
The
Everyone's ready to be excited.
That was the Korean casters. I can't hear the crowd. They're very quiet.
I thought it was the crowd getting super amped over the almost pick onto Crazy.
The almost pick does mean that Crazy's fully backed off and a Drake will be claimed, or BBQ can get an answer is positioning around the Baron.
But Mountain Drake, important here actually, equalizing that particular Drake count, but means that this Kog'Maw is going to rip through the Baron even more effectively. Sungyun did decide to go for the Hurricane, opting in for the more extended power spike.
It's about 10, but they took out the blasting plant, so he's not going to get caught. Does let them know they have pretty good vision in the red side. Okay.
Taking some free damage, but throws out the ultimate there. Goes Featherstorm, Flash, everything invested to get himself out of the way. Looks like he will be all right, but Key, taking a bit of damage from Tempt, still survives. Linderung unable to get into the fight. And once again, successful disengage from BBQ, but successful bullying from the ROX Tigers to get BBQ away from this Baron.
But the ROX Tigers' goal was honestly to force the teleport from the Jax, who wants to return to the bot lane. They weren't able to do that. No ability to force the movement of Crazy. They get the Jax to teleport. Cho'Gath can free farm in bot lane because the Jax can't enter as easily with Baron still up.
Ultimate from Song 1, remember, so BBQ not having to respect this as much. Fortunately for them, not able to go up and contest towards this minion wave. And BBQ unable to actually get extra damage onto the turret. So in the end, it feels like a bit of a wash. Sungyun able to grab that big raptor as Tempt was not quite with enough damage to take that one down.
I just want to talk about fishermen more.
Yeah, I think you probably
Or
can.
fisher women. I don't actually know how that works.
Fisher people?
I don't know. That sounds...
Should we actually readjust the name? Fishing
Probably?
enthusiasts?
Fishing. Noted fishing enthusiasts.
Fish capturing people? Oh, I don't like that. I feel like there needs to be a better word. Fishers. Because theoretically, that's not supposed to be the plural of fish, okay? So I was right. I am a fisher.
Are you?
No, I'm not. I know a guy
not?
called Fisher, though. Well, his last name's Fisher, anyway.
His last name Price.
Yes, he's a washing machine. You're right, Papa Smithy. You're my only friend, okay? There's no need to talk about it. Okay, Totoro doesn't find the Arctic Assault. Sorry, Song1 doesn't find the Arctic Assault. Totoro doesn't have that button.
I'd like to say our casting went downhill, but we started pretty bad.
I feel like it's done well. I'm enjoying this because we're discussing the relevant parts of the game and then getting down to the nitty-gritty of fishermen's rights.
I don't think we were talking about fishermen's rights.
Are we talking about fishermen's friends? Do you need a mint, Papa Smithy? How's your breath?
I think that's Australia only as well.
Is it really?
I think so.
Damn it. Well,
All right, Totoro's going to face check.
Yeah, he's going to cop an ultimate to the face as well. All of the things thrown at the Rakan. And is that pick enough to get ROX a Baron buff? Sungyun certainly thinks so.
They got good secure, and the Cho'Gath's walking up, so judging by Cho'Gath's movements, it seems like ROX Tigers say yes. They start the Baron early, but they will have a Cho'Gath there for secure.
It is one of those times where I feel like a peel would be a better opportunity. Bless able to get himself right round the back, and there's no vision available for the ROX Tigers. They are taking this one down. Control ward in there, and that's going to be actually taken. Lava secures it somehow, so Bless did have an opportunity, just couldn't get the smite off, and Sungyun is going to be able to pick up the kill, served on a silver platter by the hook by Key.
Usually Cho'Gath grouping means a 20 to 30 minute Baron is straightforward, but what you can do, and I mentioned this in previous series, is if you can free DPS from the back, throw over a QE from the Syndra with the Scout of the Week, or in this case the Gragas throwing out damage, you throw off what should be a safe 1,000 damage secure. Of all people, Orianna taking it is very worrying for ROX Tigers. Given they thought the Baron Force is the best way to get back into the game. It definitely is, but that was too close for comfort.
Yeah, it still was a 50-50, most certainly in the end there, so not a risk that the ROX Tigers needed to take at that point, to be honest.
It does buy them a lot of extra time getting the first Baron of the game. If it went against them, absolutely, their whole game plan falls apart, but being results-orientated, you can say that it will buy them even more time for Kog'Maw to pile on items.
Well, quickness has been popped here by Totoro, who's looking for Sungyun, but he just needs the flash and the heal for the movement speed to get himself out of there.
Didn't have QSS up, so had to play very respectfully there, that Sungyun.
Gonna take a Lantern Ride to get him towards the top side of the map as well. They're desperate to utilize this Baron buff as Arcane Barrage set up. Sungyun turreting the turret, as it were, as there's a hula hoop. Lava demonstrating the fact that yes, his R button works, and no, you don't have to get hit by it.
Just having good pressure in the side lanes, but have to be so careful. Can't skip steps when the Kog'Maw has no flash. One Syndra stun. QSS is up, but otherwise it's going to be curtains for the side of Sungyun.
With that extra range, should be able to keep himself relatively safe. Decent hook lands. Whoa, there's the explosion. Totoro not alive for nearly as long as he wants to be. That's going to be redemption as well, coming in to keep the ROX Tigers healthy. Tower falls down, as does the Gragas. Oh, just the tip. Not quite.
Linderung hasn't used Feast. It looked like it with all the burst onto a single member, but still has it available. This is what you can do when you have tanks with Baron buff. You just tunnel down mid lane, and they're taking everything in one fell swoop.
Yeah, they're just moving out of the way of Temp's skill shots as well. Unfortunately, Rupture doesn't land, but that's the inhibitor dying, like you said, Papa Smithy. And And they'll just empowered recall back home. Looks like another day in the office for the ROX Tigers as they break the base.
And the split push has worked. They've gotten an inner turret, but we've already reached the point where Baron is taken and then split pushing means nothing. Nerth noticing that Crazy wanted kill pressure onto Linderang, so did not go for Titanic Hydra. So against Baron buff, has no hope in hell of being able to push minions fast enough to make them pay in other lanes.
Yeah. Consolation Mountain Drake does come in, though, on the side of BBQ. They have to deal with, like you said, the other lanes that are pushing in. ROX Tigers with so much space to move. Next Dragon will be that Elder Drake, and they discover the backing members of BBQ.
Another Baron, another roll down mid lane. Feels like ROX Tigers will take game one, and even the team fight phase hits. The Infinity Edge is there for Kog'Maw, so you know that ROX Tigers are ready to roll. Don't have the death cap yet on the side of the Orianna, so not quite the max HP shields, but ROX Tigers in a fantastic spot here in game one.
Yep. Infinity Edge done, though, for Ghost as well, so he's hit that 3-item power spike that we look at as being Xayah's real point of power with this Essence Reaper build. But is it a little bit too late? There's the ultimate, they're diving straight forward onto Tempt. The hook lands from out of nowhere on the side of Key, but blessed with a fantastic interruption. No kills to go down for ROX Tigers with Linderang. Trying to answer, doesn't find anyone with the Rupture, but there's a lot of damage, just eats the Gragas. How did that taste? Linderang was that good. They are going to be able to take down this tower, just man advantage. 5 versus 4 means that BBQ Oliver's not with many options, and they'll coordinate this with the super creeps heading towards these Nexus turrets, and we'll get some damage there as well. Crazy just not offering too much to these team fights. ROX Tigers just with all the control.
The space hook came through from Thresh.
Where
Insane.
was that from?
We're going to have to see a replay to be Mythbusters on how that one happened.
Go gadget hook.
Inspector Thresh actually sounds like an amazing skin idea. You gave that one for free, Atlas.
Oh yeah, that
should have
sounds
trademarked
good.
that one. Didn't. But ROX Tigers, this is what you do. You just go behind the turret, Sejuani throws out the ult. If it registers, great. If it doesn't, there's still a slowing field while you take down the inner turret. And because it went on the right member, inner turret turned into inhibitor and inhibitor turret coming through for the ROX Tigers, and we're one clean push away from the game ending.
I don't even know whether it needs to be that clean, Papa Smithy, or whether it's likely to be.
One scuffed push away from the game ending.
Oh, scuffed push. Perfect. How scuffed?
Relatively.
All right, nice. Just to show that you're a working man.
That's right.
You got your scuffs there.
Gonna walk the walk, gotta talk the talk, you know how it is.
Yeah. You need to have some scuffs. Prove that you actually do stuff. Okay, ROX Tigers setting themselves up. Tutorial victory. Song1 setting himself up.
Predictably don't have their minions in a great spot in side lanes, but they do have super minions there.
Yeah. Interesting to not see Crazy continuing to push those waves out as well, but not wanting to overextend too far, despite having a lot of information here towards the top side. Deep Sea Kog'Maw having a little bit of a sing. He's having a pretty good game here as well. 1-0 and 3. Hasn't really needed to do much more than attack move towards a team fight. Things have worked out.
Still have a bit of time here, BBQ. They can clear out one more minion wave. That'd be golden. Super minions not pushing in. Okay, Xayah's attending to some. This might be the go button for ROX. Oh, well, maybe BBQ.
Yeah, in goes Totoro. Good charms actually set up there, but look at how tanky these members are, and another hook gonna fly through onto Tempt. He's the only one hit by the shockwave, but ROX have shown us that they don't need any more than one pick to secure these. Ghost has to flash out of the way. Totoro, my God, sorry, Key, doing so much work with this Thresh. BBQ Oliver's desperate to try and clear up these creeps, but it's not going to happen. It's a luxury inhibitor, not even taken on the top side of the map as the Counter-Strike gets some stuns, but it's not going to stop this last Nexus turret falling. The Nexus will be attended to, and the ROX Tigers pretty clinically take down the BBQ Olivers. It was slow, but it was steady to get themselves to match point in this series and silence BBQ's hopes of escaping the promotion tournament.
And sure, they still need to finish off the match, but they're so close to fully silencing it away, Atlas. Slow and steady wins the race, a story as old as time, but when you lock in the hyper tanky front line and also the hyper carry Kog'Maw, It didn't take a genius to know that when the early game was even, and in fact, ROX Tiger was able to get gold in scenarios where I thought they would fall behind in gold and dragons. That never really happened in any considerable fashion, and it just looked too easy for the side of ROX Tigers. They've been in worse form than BBQ recently, 5 match losses in a row, but that was the easy game to ease them into this particular series. And one more game is all that separates BBQ from a confirmed spot in the relegation tournament.
Yeah, that's not the confirmed spot that you want either. Unfortunately, the split push tactic's not quite working out. BBQ can go towards that tank style. We know that Crazy does love to play the